Hi, folks. This is Miguel from the Embargo Man. This is one question: is what if? And the first thing we'll be happening to do is about the first thing what happened. This is just more to what would be related. This is what happened in flight 173 from Korean Air has been crashed in the Philippines. It was an Airbus A330, right? So, I mean, it's not a Boeing. Well, and 173 people surviving. But what if flight 173 were to be a Boeing 737 Max 8, 9, or 10? And that happened to the same situation that have happened with another Boeing 737 Max in Ethiopia and Indonesia. What if? Okay, what if it happens? Then it would be very disastrous. I mean, first of all, and second of all, I mean, it would make Airbus to acquire Korean aerospace industries, and Airbus will take away Boeing's mojo in South Korea. And I'll tell you why they're gonna take Boeing's mojo is because the crash has happened. Then the president of that country will say they want to buy their own airplanes, so Airbus acquires KAI. And when Airbus acquires KAI, it would start making A320s in South Korea. And what else is going to be that the KF-21 will be called the F-21 Hawk when Airbus acquires and and KAI becomes Airbus Korea. And it's gonna be just crazy, taking away Boeing's mojo in these areas. Also in government, contracts. I mean, this is going to say in slogans: the most sophisticated fighter jet is made in Mobile, Alabama. That means the pinnings of the KF-21 would be transferred with Airbus. Korean aerospace industries becomes Airbus Korea, and the space shuttles would be made by Airbus Korea with their Kari and NASA using Airbus made space shuttles. And that might be the possibility of Airbus Korea. I mean, that's what's gonna happen if an Airbus Boeing 737 if a Boeing 737 Max 8, 9, or 10 crashes in Cebu, and that the carrier is Korean Air. So a Korean airliner carrier was going to happen. That is going to be that this what it is. It would give out the edge to what it is to have Airbus to have government contracts by acquiring Korean aerospace industries. And that would be NASA will make their space shuttles be made by Airbus. It would have the Navy with the KF-21 be officially made by Airbus in Mobile, Alabama, because they acquired Korean Air Industries and become Airbus Korea. It says, and then after that, you go online, when you go to kai.com, it will transfer you to Airbus Korea. When they transfer you to Airbus Korea, and this is what they say about the F-21 Hawk, right? So that's what's gonna happen if a Boeing 737 Max 8, 9, or 10 and flight 173 from Korean Air were to be crashed in the Philippines instead of an Airbus A330, if it's one of a Boeing 737 MAX, or by a Korean Air, the provider's Korean Air, or the Boeing 737 MAX crashes, then contracts would be all the way, even the government contracts. I mean, and first of all, the first thing would happen, Boeing loses its mojo in South Korea. Airbus acquired Korean Air Industries, making an A320 in South Korea, or which other Airbus planes in South Korea for the South Korean market, get the pinnings of the KF-21 called F-21 Hawk, make it in Alabama for the U.S. Navy, and whatnot. But that's what's going to happen if a Boeing 737 MAX from Korean Air were to be crashed in Cebu, Philippines, right? And mention the Itaewon stampede. What if it happens in North America? What if it happens in New York instead of Korea? Well, I don't know if it got all to blame of all this incident. I mean, going away from Halloween, I mean, what is the tragedy happens in New York, or what it happens in Canada, with the Calgary Stampede. If it happens later on, if it didn't happen in Itaewon, it would be a shock in the world. Maybe they might just beef up the security in Calgary. Maybe New York, if it happens in Halloween in New York, Halloween festival in New York City, if it happens instead of Itaewon, it happens in New York City, like in Times Square, they might just, for the next events after the Halloween festival incident that happened were to happen in New York instead of South Korea, instead of happening in Itaewon, it will happen in Times Square. Then they will just beef up security during the New Year's countdown in New York City, and that is a what if. So after all this of what ifs, this is just my first what if of all the videos of what if. Means that, okay, what if a Boeing 737 MAX from Korean Air crashes in Cebu, Philippines? What's going to happen is that Boeing will lose its mojo in South Korea as the dominant player of making commercial airplanes for passengers. That means even Asiana would, let's say, let's buy domestic. Boeing set up shop in South Korea to make A320s. They want to buy more A320s and more Airbus being built in South Korea by acquiring Korean aerospace industries, making the development of the KF-21 Hawk or the F-21 Hawk, and then after that, NASA will get the shuttles being made by Airbus with a Korean, space, equivalent to NASA of a space program. We're doing it with South Korea and NASA, and what else when is Navy, the U.S. Navy with contracts about putting the most technologically advanced fighter jet from the U.S. Navy is made in Mobile, Alabama. That means Korean Air Industries being acquired by Airbus. It becomes Airbus Korea. And what else it might be? And the other what if this Halloween incident, instead of happening in Itaewon, South Korea, it happens in New York City, or later on after Halloween, it happens in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, in the Stampede. Then what the New York mayor would do if it happened in New York, gonna beef up security when they want to make the New Year's Eve celebration to be safe. They're gonna beef up all the security, doing all the SWAT team and everything like that, whatsoever, just to keep people safe. But what if it happens in the Stampede in Canada after Halloween, a few months after Halloween? Then it would be, the same thing, beef up security, everything like that. And, but it's going to happen. The same thing is that it's going to happen. All the people commemorandum what happened in Itaewon. But in New York City, when I have priests and everybody else remembering loved ones, like even people from Europe or Asia or whatever it is, have been in this tragedy in New York, in Times Square instead of Itaewon. It would be a commemoration, and then it would go all the way to the St. Patrick's Cathedral, right? The incident on Times Square on Halloween night, instead of happening in Itaewon. But what if it happens in Alberta, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, during the Stampede, the rodeo Stampede? The same thing happens. Commemoration was gonna happen in the tragedy in Calgary, the Stampede parade in Canada, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Then it would be shock for the news. Same thing's gonna happen. Commemorandum, whatever, and this and that, whatever. And then they're gonna want to keep security tight with the SWAT team and everything like that. That's all what it is of what if. So comment, subscribe, hit the bell button for the next video, and I'll see you on the next vid on the Embargo Man channel. I hope the people in Itaewon are safe, and I hope this won't happen in New York City. People hit by a crash in the Philippines from a Korean Air. But I would say if it was an Airbus if it was a Boeing 737 Max to be from Korean Air and crashes to somewhere, probably even in Cebu, somewhere around there, then that would be that Boeing might loses its mojo and Airbus could acquire Korean aerospace industries so they could make the bromance KF-21 plane to be released, and that even the US Navy would get it and get these F-21 Hawk, KF-M21 Hawk to be built in Mobile, Alabama, because of Airbus acquiring Korean aerospace industries to be called to Airbus Korea. So goodbye, peace out, take care of each other, people. So long, and see you in the next video.